When I create large-scale tapestries with these saris, the bodies are ever present and the histories are ever present. The processes, the materials, the stories, those are the aspects that center women. Hi, I'm Suchitra Mattai. I am here at the Seattle Asian Art Museum in my exhibition, She Walked in Reverse and Found Their Songs. You know, I was always thinking of myself as a mixed media artist, and about 8 years ago or so, I was on a mission to kind of give my practice a rebirth. So I'd learned sewing and embroidery and crochet and all of these sort of domestic practices from my grandmothers. I started thinking about how I could bring those processes into the work in a holistic way. We're used to thinking about craft as confined to the domestic sphere, and that's because it was often the work of women who couldn't participate in the greater art world. I'm from Guyana, which is a very mysterious place. It's in South America, but cut off to the other countries in South America by rainforest. There are remnants of the British colonial period. There's a huge population of former slaves, former indentured laborers from China, from India, and from various places. All of these sort of stories and the kind of community that they come from, those are what sort of imbue the exhibition. Because of the stories that I want to tell and to share of my ancestors, of people from the communities that I come from, it made sense to use materials that sort of fit with those stories. So I get very excited about found objects, whether it's the found furniture or found needlepoints. I often think of my work as a collaboration with women of the past and makers of the past. Each object, because of its particular design, its level of use, its association with a particular time period, brings those attributes with it. And when I use them, there's yet another sort of level of history that becomes addressed. And so the found objects present an established story, perhaps, that I can then respond to. The saris are the biggest found object, the largest quantity of found objects that I use. I source most of them in India, but there are many ways that I receive them. So sometimes they're gifts. My mom lives in New Jersey, and there's a huge population of South Asians there. So she will actually go to thrift stores and find saris and find shalwar kameez outfits and then mail them to me. And also her friends will have sari drives for me and then send them as well. You know, the processes, the materials, the stories, those are the aspects that center women. And you know, when I create large-scale tapestries with these saris, the bodies are ever present and the histories are ever present through sense, through color, through the essence of the body that's present within found clothes. And in that way, I'm able to celebrate and empower women, I think. You know, I also find and collect vintage tapestries, and they often have European pastoral scenes. So it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but what I'll do is embroider over what's already there and create these brown heroines within the scapes. And so, for example, in the work that has the show's title, She Walked in Reverse and Found Their Songs, there's a Diana, but she's transformed into a kind of everyday heroine, but based on traits of both Greek goddesses and Hindu goddesses. Many of the stories and histories of groups of people have only been passed down orally. As my grandfather passed away, his stories are gone. They're only saved by his family members. And so it's my duty, I feel, in a way, to archive these stories, to keep them alive. He would tell stories that just wandered, you know, and it was all about people, all about his friends. And so when I thought about this exhibition, I wanted it very much to feel like a wandering through particular memories, particular but also a kind of abstraction that makes them more universal.